Hello. Okay, guys, I think I am live. All right, so I'm doing this during the day today. So I have a lot of energy. Not that I don't have any energy during the night, but wanted to talk about some things, the signs and the symbols that are going around right now, and it's gonna be more conspiracy theory type stuff. But yeah, guys, this is what's going on right now in the world. So I just wanted to let you guys know if you don't already know. And come back to this video if you don't feel like watching the whole thing, because there's a lot of different things that are happening in the world, and it would be a shame. It would be a shame if you didn't know, if you weren't in the loop or in the consciousness collective loop. So, first thing that I wanted to talk about was the El Nino weather, and again, this is what is showing us in the photo is what's happening with this storm that's going around, with this hurricane, whatever you want to call it. And as it shows, this is what typically should be happening, but instead we're getting a lot of warmth, especially towards North America. And I'm sure you guys have seen on the news, there's been heat waves in Europe. It's been like 90-degree weather, and all the Europeans, they can't handle that weather, and they don't have freaking air conditioning. So, guys, what does this all mean? What does this mean? So, they don't name things for no reason, okay? So, El Nino, or the little boy, they don't name it for no reason. And I was just thinking that it could mean the sun, okay? It could mean the sun or Ra. And Ra is the sun god, and Ra is the one, again, that brings is not typically the one that brings judgment, but again, I feel like that energy is the one that's coming back on earth, and it's bringing its wrath upon certain land masses. Again, you can see it as wrath, I just said that, but again, it's just bringing a certain energy that is going to cause a lot of global tension. A lot of things are going to happen on the weather, because again, we need to know that Gaia is a living being. Okay, so whatever pops up, whether hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, whatever it may be, it is because it was meant to be, and we have collectively agreed this needs to happen. Okay, so this is what's going on. I feel like this is going to definitely change the landscape of what the earth looks like. This is going to bring upon a lot more, I don't want to say the word destruction, but it's going to cause a lot of uncomfort to certain areas, and there might be more and more of, again, these disasters. But as we know, the disasters need to happen because the earth herself is changing, and the changes need to show up, they need to manifest on the earth. Okay, guys, I wanted to talk about the eclipse because it is happening and has happened in this past year. But in August 2nd, 2027, this is probably going to be the biggest eclipse, and they're labeling it here of the century. It's going to be visible in Egypt, and it's going to be visible exactly where the pyramids are. And whenever we think of eclipses, we think of them as judgment spots. So this is where the unconscious, wherever there's darkness upon the earth, it's like the unconscious is basically telling us to go within and get rid or purge any of the darkness that is still stuck in the unconscious. And a lot of the native peoples, or a lot of the peoples of the past, again, saw this day as a dark day, and again, we can always use these days, we can use these days for our benefit to go within and do the things that we need to do. It's going to last 6 minutes, 23 seconds, and it's going to be, like I said, near Luxor, Egypt, and it's the second longest in 21st century. Alright guys, if you've ever watched my moon videos or my moon matrix videos, I already basically told you guys that the moon was towed into our system. It's basically one of the things that basically make sure that this is a holographic 3D Luciferian Earth. So that is basically meaning that everything is planned. The solar eclipses are planned, everything is planned, including the phases. Everything is planned because, again, the moon is just a fake plasma ball that was towed into our system, and you guys can go read about it in the book The Ringmakers of Saturn, because the Saturn moon matrix is a real thing, and again, the moon is the one that keeps the lens of Lucifer upon Earth and makes everything upside down, topsy-turvy, whatever. So yeah, guys, that's what's happening, but I want to mention what has happened in the past. So let's zoom in. Okay, this was the solar eclipse path in the United States. So we can see April 8th, 2024, August 21st, 2017. There's people that are talking about this, but I think the most prominent person that has the greatest explanation for this is BDell1014. So you guys can go check out his YouTube where he talks about this. But as we see, if I can zoom in again, let's zoom in. Okay, so as we can see on the explanation, they're going back to Genesis, which again was written by certain people, edited, redacted again. And God said, "Let there be lights on the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let there be signs for seasons and for days and years." Okay, so this is also making the Hebrew letter of the Tav at the time of Ezekiel. So this is the true Hebrew letter, and I looked it up, and Tav just means the sign or the symbol or the mark. So the X marks the spot. The X is literally on the United States. So a certain amount of judgment is going to come upon the United States as we are in Revelation times, as we are in the end times. And why is there going to be certain things that are happening on the United States? It's because it all has to end. It all has to end here. This is where, again, the deep state have a stronghold. This is again where they live here. They live amongst us, hidden, and the judgment again is going to happen. So let's go to the next photo so you guys can see. So we see a lot of the X's that are happening with the solar eclipses. And again, guys, when we think of the X, we know that we're getting into new times, and just like the other photo was showing, or the other picture was showing, is basically we're in biblical times. And the United States itself is the true Atlantis. This is where everything began, and this is where everything needs to end. So, when the end times are coming, things are going to happen. But should you be wary of persecution? Should you be wary of hurricanes, earthquakes, all of these things happening to you? If you are, again, an enlightened person, you're doing the things, you're listening to your intuition, and you're not afraid of what's going on in the outer world, then you have nothing to be afraid of, okay? If your intuition, again, is telling you do not live on the coastlines, do not live on the fault lines of America, do not live on any of these places where things may or might not happen, then you need to listen to your intuition because, again, I cannot tell anyone what to do. Alright guys, I found this photo really interesting. So again, it shows us the eclipses, the different eclipses of 2017, 2024. And I'm not really sure if this is true or not, but they were basically saying all of these eclipses are happening in sites where there's a lot of Salems, a lot of cities called Salem. So again, I feel like they're definitely doing their rituals and they're doing all of this is probably where a lot of dark rituals were happening in America. So a lot of things could happen on these specific solar eclipse points or X's that they're showing us. So I thought that was interesting. Okay, guys. Actually, before I get into the World Cup, I wanted to show you guys one last video dealing with the weather. And then we'll talk a little bit about the World Cup. Not that I really want to, but I know people need to know what's going on if they're paying attention to the news. If you guys are basically looking on social media, a lot of things are being shown and broadcasted. Alright, guys, let's watch what was happening in Venezuela, Japan, California. And it's only 4 minutes, so let's see what's up. guys, I think I'm going to pause there. And they all want to report, they all want to say, oh, this is just a coincidence. They're all separate, fault lines. There's no way that this is all connected. Yes, everything is connected. Honestly, guys, everything is connected. And I just want to let you know that I haven't checked, but most likely this day was when or should I say, the Schumann resonance was very high. And again, whenever the Schumann resonance is super high and there's a lot of energy that is being generated on the earth, towards the earth, things are going to start. A lot of the public just wants to look at it again in one way, that, oh, this is such a tragedy, oh, what a coincidence. But honestly, we know that things are changing on Earth because the Earth is responding, and we can't just always look at things as tragic. Because again, if we look at all these fault lines, these are breaking points, these are the joints of the Earth. Things need to be moved, things need to be rearranged, things need to erupt from the Earth, as she is also becoming anew. She's becoming anew, and she's advancing with us, okay, ascending with us, because she is the one that basically incites all of our ascension. Without her doing her job, without her doing her eruptions, her ascension, all these symptoms of the earth, if they don't happen, then we are not going to ascend either. So we cannot always play into the tragic, the fearfulness, and again, we need to realize that things are going to continue to happen, and all the things on Earth are connected, and there's most likely things that they're hiding from us again. But there's things like these earthquakes, like the huge earthquake in Venezuela, that cannot be hidden. Okay, things need to continue happening. And if you think, oh, this is never going to happen to America, honestly, like I told you, things are going to happen everywhere, including America, especially America, just like we've seen from the El Nino weather. And as we're seeing again, there is a lot of heat coming. So again, there could be a wave of heat, and then we can go back down to extreme coldness. It doesn't matter. The earth is just doing whatever she needs to do to ascend. And if you guys also look at the map of Venezuela, you can see that all their fault lines are pretty much basically where all of the huge earthquakes were happening. So yeah, guys, that's what I wanted to show you about the weather. There's a lot of symbolism that is going on. And now I wanted to talk about the World Cup. So I want to show you guys a video. It's going to be in Spanish, but hopefully the subtitles pop up. But if they don't, you guys can all see pretty much what he's talking about. Everything that is going on mass media is basically a ritual, because the deep state, whatever you want to call them, want to stay in power. They want to stay in power no matter what. So they're doing absolutely everything that they possibly can, using your attention, using your energy, because that is basically your spiritual currency. And you are the one that gives attention. You're the one that brings to life the 3D world. Without your attention, things are not alive. Everything is quote unquote dead. It's not really dead. It's just dormant, waiting for you to look at it, because when you don't look at it, it's just a wave. Okay, it's just a wave. It doesn't exist in the light spectrum just yet. But when you look at it, it turns into a particle. So then it solidifies because your attention, again, is hologram. It's very much needed for everything to work, for everything to continue. But unfortunately, everything that wants to continue includes things that are not for our benefit. So I'm gonna play the videos about again about the World Cup. Hopefully it's gonna translate into English. If it doesn't, the pictures really do show what the heck is going on, and I'll explain what he was talking about if it doesn't want to basically show anything, if it doesn't want to show the subtitles. Let us go, let us go. Alright, let's see if it's gonna work. Okay, is it gonna play? Is it gonna play? Alright, guys, I don't know why this one doesn't want to play, but the other one wants to play, so I might show the other one first. But let me just try one more time. The final, the
Usted la
final.
creencia que ya todo está arreglado.
Okay, guys, it looks like it's gonna play, but there's not gonna be any subtitles, so I will just let it play. Just let it play because what he's talking about again is what a lot of people are saying on the internet, what's going on with the World Cup. And again, this is another reason for you not to pay attention. Honestly, don't even look at the news. Just allow word of mouth to be, again, how you get access to the so-called news, because again, it's not really news anymore. It's just basically a lot of scripted stuff that's going on. So we're just gonna continue to see that, unfortunately, because again, we're in the end days. These are the end days. And if it doesn't want to play, then I'll just have to do the other video. Okay, guys, let's do the other video because I don't think it's gonna play. So, this one does have subtitles. It's just my internet wants to be funky and doesn't want me to play it. I don't know why it's not letting me play. It's like they know that I want to expose everything. I'm just kidding. I'm not exposing it. It's just the people that are paying attention that are exposing it. Okay, I think it's gonna play now. What is going on? Of course it's gonna do this to me right now. Why can you not hear the freaking Okay, guys, I think it's gonna work now. Da-na-na-na-na-na. This is the thing about going live is you have no idea what the heck is gonna happen. Okay, let's go.
Belinda commence d'entrée avec le triangle Illuminati et l'œil d'Horus. Le monde est posé sur une pyramide aztèque parce que c'est un sacrifice global. Et Shakira incarne la prostituée de Babylone, la femme écarlate de l'Apocalypse, qui tient la coupe d'or, le trophée, symbole.
Come on, what the heck? Okay. I like how it does it for a couple of seconds and then it doesn't. Alright guys, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna let me play it or not, so I'm just going. She's holding the golden cup, the trophy. They're carried by ancient demons. She sings a duet with Burna Boy. Burna Boy, a direct reference to child sacrifice for Moloch. Then we see
Actualmente se está
Belinda's.
jugando el Mundial de Fútbol y existe una conspiración y una teoría
Okay, now it
sobre
wants to
quién va a
play.
ganar el Mundial. Existe la creencia que ya todo está arreglado.
Okay. Alright, let's see if it's gonna play this one, because all of a sudden my internet just wants to be crazy. Hopefully you guys just skim over this part, the waiting part, but let's see if it'll let me play. Come on. It's like the system doesn't want me to show the freaking truth. Doesn't want me to show what the heck's
Take a
going
look at this. It all started with the all-seeing eye gesture, one of the most recognizable symbols tied to hidden knowledge, illumination, or spiritual power. Then things escalate as the ceremony moves into something much older. Aztec sunstone imagery. And this is not just decoration. The sunstone is tied to ancient pagan cosmology, sun god worship, and sacrifice. And this is where it moves from hidden spiritual language into ancient ritual. They raise a golden idol on what looks like a pyramid altar before the nations. In the Bible, we see that King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon raised a golden image and commanded the nations to worship it. A golden image, a global crowd, and collective worship. Then comes the second Babylon parallel. The imagery shifts to another woman standing over the world in scarlet and purple tones. Revelation 17 describes Mystery Babylon as a woman arrayed in purple and scarlet over all the people, nations, and languages, holding in her hand a golden cup full of abominations. But finally, the ritual concludes with humanity stacked upward like a modern Babel moment, and all the nations gathered around one globe. One world, one circle, one system. This is not about fearing symbols. It's about discernment. Let's not forget that in the end,
Okay, so he's gonna talk about again. Let's praise Jesus. Let's make sure we pray to Jesus. But no, guys, that is not going to help. Just having the discernment, honestly, is going to wake people up. And a lot of people are not awake right now because they're not seeing
second Babylon parallel.
the imagery. And he also makes a reference to Babylon. And guess what? Babylon was again ancient Babylon. It turned into the realm, and then it translated or went over to America. So we have been Babylon for these thousands of years. So that's exactly why a lot of shit is going to go down in America because of all of this symbolism, all that they're showing us. And I also wanted to mention that there was really nothing wrong with the sun worship that he mentioned in Aztec times, but again, he's just going to have like a biblical perspective of things. And I'm gonna see one last time if it's gonna show me, gonna let us show this video. If not, IDK what to do. IDK, because I thought I was going to be able to show more about the freaking World Cup, but I guess I could just talk about it too. Let's talk about it. So I can post it as well. I can post it. Okay, Belinda starts right away with the Illuminati, triangle of forest. The world is placed on the Aztec because it's a global sacrifice. Shakira embodies the whore of Babylon, the Scarlet Woman of the Apocalypse. She holds up the golden trophy or golden cup. Abomination here carried by Labubus, who are the ancient demons. She sings a duet by Burna Boy. Everything is in the name Burna Boy, a direct reference to child sacrifice for Moloch. Then we see Belinda's videos with Baphomet, the floor of duality, and possession. We all know the Illuminati symbol, and nobody talks about the Masonic beehive. The soccer ball is a beehive made of hexagons. Here, the entire world is trapped inside the ball, representing the beehive, the New World Order, because football was created in a Masonic temple. The Queen. It's like, I wanted him to talk because he had a freaking nice French accent. I'm just kidding. Okay, let me see if I can play the freaking. Let me see if I can play it one last time. It's like it always does this, like when I'm about to freaking make a video. I guess not. So I'm just gonna narrate what he's saying. Okay, is the elites. Are they gonna continue? Okay, guys, I'm gonna probably have to give up on this video because it does not want to show. Okay, I think it's gonna play now.
Qui possèdent les clubs. Les joueurs sont les drones qui exécutent les ordres. D'ailleurs, le premier but de cette Coupe du Monde a été marqué par Julian Quiñones, qui fait ouvertement le signe du compas maçonnique. C'est exactement comme les Mignons. Pas d'identité propre.
Okay, every time I do that, every time I want to actually play it, it doesn't want me to play it like that. Okay, first world was scored by Julian Quiñones, who made the Masonic compass sign. It's exactly like the minions, who have no real identity, just the uniform, a number, and blind obedience to their master. Shakira, we are ready. When you watch football, you participate in the ritual, you lose your individuality, you become a worker in the hive. Okay, that's basically all that he wanted to say, and I was going to show you the other shorts, but I'm not sure if it's going to come up, but basically he was explaining that, again, everything has already been scripted. They showed us on The Simpsons that most likely Mexico and Portugal are going to be at the very end, and honestly, guys, if you watched soccer, you know that Mexico is not a good team, and everything seems really weird in this World Cup. Not that I really want to pay attention to it, I'm just hearing again from word of mouth what is going on. Korea did not win one game, guys. Korea did not win against any of the African countries, and they're supposed to be one of the elite countries in Asia. And I just saw that Mexico won against Ecuador, and you could say it was because that they went to Ecuador's hotel and they were just like making a lot of noise. But everybody knows in the Latin American world that Ecuador is a really good football team or soccer team, and so that was weird. There's just a lot of weird things that kind of don't add up. And I believe my theory was, again, that they were going to make sure that they take as much energy and as much money from the people as they possibly could. So they usually are going to put the two biggest teams up together. So I was thinking Argentina and Portugal were going to play. But now that I'm looking at this symbolism, they're putting the Mexican with the Portugal. So that basically means that this is the Americas. These are the people of the Americas. These are represented by the natives. This is represented by us, who is native to America, who has been here. And this is represented by the Europeans, the colonizers, and again, this is represented by the deep state. So just see this again as the organic people versus the deep state, the colonizers, and they're all going to make it a part of the ritual for Portugal to win. So that's what they basically were showing on The Simpsons. And I also saw in the conspiracy theories that they also put the colors on the new FIFA soccer ball of the actual team that's going to win. So the actual team that's going to win has this color of green and red, which is Portugal. So guys, I wanted to show this image basically of what has been happening on Earth for a very long time. We've been going through this galactic chess game, and again, we can see that this is the Masonic chessboard, and the people of Earth, the true Earthlings, are represented by the black, and they are going to be represented by the white. So that also goes back to the Spurs in the basketball, the Spurs against the Knicks. And again, like I said in the last video, they made the colonizers win. They made the white pieces win. And the black represented by the people of the earth, they did not win. But again, that's just one interpretation. And that's what they want to show in their rituals. So guys, I wanted to show this video. Hopefully it'll let me play it, but it's about what's going on with all of the UFO sightings and what has been, again, going on in the background while people are paying attention to some other things in the world. So I wanted to show this. Again, it's in Spanish, but you guys can clearly see it to pay attention to the corner up here. So let's see if it'll let me play the video.
Víctimas de un avistamiento ovni en un video de nosotros, nos la acaban de mandar los suscriptores, de que aquí lo van a ver, mírenlo. ¿Sí o qué? Estamos un poquito asustados, parce, porque ya se comenzó a destapar lo que es la revelación. El día de la revelación ya comenzó y con un video de los machitos, ¿no?
Alright guys, I'm gonna play it one last time, and again, a lot of people are gonna say, oh, this is just AI, it's not that deep, that's not really UFO. And again guys, we cannot take everything as AI. We cannot just say, oh, this is just not that deep enough, who cares about that? But again, people are seeing this with their real eyes, and most likely you guys are also seeing this going on in the background, and we can see that the UFO is just passing by while everybody again is celebrating in front of the stadium.
El día de la revelación ya comenzó y con un video de los machitos, no.
Okay, so it flies by, and it's really funny. One of the comments is saying that even the aliens don't want to miss out on the festivities. So that's what's happening. So now I wanted to show this because people are continuing to show different UFOs. And I don't think it's this one is that recent, but I'm still gonna show it anyways. Let us play the mothership.
More amazing alien videos are coming out of California. Now, the video I'm going to show you, a lady captured what appears to be a gigantic mothership over California. Now, in the video, you'll hear her say, "Don't worry, this is not AI," since that happens to be the only comment that usually comes on these videos where people are kind of freaked out about seeing them. They're like, "Oh, it's AI, but it's not AI. It's literally what appears to be a gigantic mothership just hovering above her." Check the video out. It's pretty awesome.
This is not AI, in case anybody's wondering.
You can tell the shape of the cloud is completely different. The lights are moving in a weird pattern. It looks like a mothership. Now, I left her tag, the original creator, because her video is much longer, so you can watch the full version other than the 10 seconds I posted. But
Alright guys, so I just wanted to mention that what was shown in this video, like the lights going off and everything, it being cloaked by the cloud and just basically the atmosphere and everything. Honestly guys, this does not look like a mothership to me because the mothership that is over America right now, honestly, is so freaking huge. It's probably just as big as America, but again, this is probably one of the ships that are just basically observing us. And yeah, these are just gonna continue to pop up. So I wanted to show you guys this. It looks like this was posted just a couple of weeks ago, and eventually the mothership is going to let us know that it's there, and it's going to be a lot bigger than this. I have a feeling that that's not even the mothership. So going on the same line of aliens that have been popping up. And I don't really like talking about aliens, but I just wanted to give disclosure about all the different types of beings that will show themselves, that will be made known. So let's see if this will let me freaking play.
Earth as
I only recently heard about gray aliens living underneath the crust of our Earth. Okay, I was wondering what you could tell us about them.
You can't actually just lump them all into one particular type. And that can be what causes a lot of confusion in you when you see different kinds of behaviors. But the ones that are most relevant, you have to understand that the story of the Greys is really that they began on a parallel Earth as humans. And they destroyed their world, and they mutated into the form you call the Greys. So in order to perpetuate their civilization, they had to tunnel into parallel realities where humans still existed with viable human DNA. So in a sense, a Grey is actually just a form of mutated human.
Okay, I only recently...
Alright guys, so I think a lot of people already know about this, but there's a lot of videos. I couldn't find the one that I wanted to show, so I didn't show it, but I wanted to play this because again, this is basically the information that I received about the Greys. They were humans that lived in a parallel Earth, and basically destruction came upon the Earth, so they went into the caverns and they went into underground and they became these Greys. They became these gray humans or aliens or whatever you want to call them. So, because they cloned themselves so much, they have been trying to come to this parallel universe, this parallel timeline of Earth, trying to find a way to basically have, I don't know what exactly it is, but basically to have existence again, to not be a clone, to actually have reproduction, to actually be somewhat of a human. And again, you can read a lot of information about this, with Eisenhower working with the Greys, with the US government allowing them to take the humans and allow the humans to be used for, again, their experiments to try to figure out a way to basically become renewed beings, because they just messed up their whole entire genetics, and they're not really a species. They're not really a race anymore. They're just basically clones. They're just dead ends genetically. Alright, so I showed this video on my channel before, but again, I just want to give, again, evidence of all the different types of aliens that are currently on the Earth. And yes, they live in the caverns. Yes, they live in the networks under the Earth, including the reptilians, who also like to mask themselves amongst us because they have the light technology to do so. So let's watch the video and see what's going on.
The original user found it. If this is genuine, there's so many questions. Watch it, let me know your thoughts, the usual. What the fuck?
Alright guys, I'm just gonna pause it there because the lady is just gonna react. As you guys can see, they just put it right in front of our faces. Like, bam, there's a freaking reptilian right there walking amongst them. Like, oh, it's just like a regular day. And I also saw some other people say that there was a reptilian child on one video just sitting next to the Pope, like, just chilling there like nothing. So guys, this is just gonna continue. Again, a lot of these videos are gonna be a part of the hard disclosure that's going to happen, but right now we're just getting the soft disclosure of the alien stuff. But again, as the Earth is heating up, as we get more of that solar energy, solar flares pop off, the Schumann, the heartbeat of the Earth continues to rise. As we get more used to the 5D energy, as we get more used to the light energy, 5D dimensional energy, this is who's going to show up. This is who's going to pop out. Because they cannot hide themselves anymore. These beings cannot hide themselves behind the masks. Alright, so I just wanted to show again the symbolism again of the reptilian, because it's very prominent in the Vatican. We can see it here. Above the people, we can see it here, basically showing us the body of a snake. If it'll let me go, the body of the snake, the head of the snake is right there. The Vatican is a criminal organization till this day. It's involved in child trafficking, kidnapping, money laundering, terrorism, wars, everything. Like I told you guys, this is basically the head of the deep state, and the treasury, or the secondary underneath that, is going to be the monarchy, the British monarchy. And here we see the snake again. Again, showing us what the Vatican looks like. And we see the reptilian. And like I told you guys in my last video about religion, Vatican literally means divining serpent. So that is the divining serpent that we're seeing. That was, again, like I told you guys, this was where they did child sacrifices. This is where all the child trafficking was being linked to. There was underground tunnels underneath the Vatican where they were doing child trafficking, where they're doing their weird rituals, drinking the blood of children, adrenochrome, all of that was going on in this place, and also in the, whatchamacallit, also in Buckingham Palace. Alright guys, I just wanted to show you guys this video. I'm probably just going to play the preview, but if you guys want to go check it out because you wanted some more anecdotes, some more firsthand information about like what's been going on behind the scenes is sex trafficking of children is one of the biggest profits of the world. That is what has maintained the deep state. This is what they have been, again, they've been sacrificing the children, giving them to the reptilians that they've been working with, and also, again, they're just using it for their own devices, keeping the frequency very low on Earth, because when you do that to the angels, the gods of the earth, the children, this is what the reaction is going to be. And there are a lot of races. There are a lot of races on Earth, and these people specifically talk about the race of the giants. So we're just gonna watch the preview really quick. And we are almost done.
These kids that were being abducted and brutalized were also ritualized. And after a while, you begin to realize this is not a fantasy. This thing is real. It is going on all over the world, in every culture, among all races. It's truly Luciferian.
Please welcome to this broadcast my good friend, Troy Brewer.
So the preview was really short, so let me see if I can find something that he talks about really quick.
These gestures and rocking back and forth and like bowing up and like, okay, well, I see you, is what he said. And I was sitting there and I was just like, nope, in the name of Jesus, you're defeated. There's a new sheriff in town. We have authority here. We were invited by the indigenous people here, the people that love King Jesus. We're not stepping into some other territory. We're stepping into kingdom territory, and we're bringing the kingdom with us. We are.
Okay, so again, guys, a lot of people are still stuck in the church mentality, but again, we can always ignore that. And let's see if he talks about the giant. If not, I'm just gonna.
You're like, what do you see? And they're all saying it's a giant.
Yeah,
I mean, this stuff is real.
That's the truth. I promise. I didn't lead that in any way. I mean, because you could clearly see it. And you know, I've got a bunch of criticism. Well, how come you weren't sitting there taking pictures of it? And I'm like, dude, we were in a holy moment, and this thing was happening. Another thing, too, is we were out rescuing kids that day, and you don't take your phones with you when you go do that. And there's a whole bunch of like, you should be able to verify that. Well, all I can say is I'm telling the truth, and I saw what I saw.
All right, guys. So, a lot more of these people are popping up online, and a lot of them are religious. This is how you know the times are changing, that even the Bible thumpers are basically coming out and telling us, this is what I saw, this is what's changing in the reality, and we are seeing non-human beings on the earth. There's a lot of stuff that was hidden in the background that, again, is being revealed. Alright guys, this is the last video that I wanted to show. Hopefully it wasn't a long video for today, but there's a lot of things that are also happening in the government. A lot of, if you guys are paying attention or just like listening in, the Prime Minister of England basically stepped down because he was also linked to, again, the child trafficking. I don't think they explicitly said child trafficking, but again, he was linked to what was going on with the subjugation of the children. But I also wanted to show this video about why the governments are crumbling down.
Now on to more updates from around the world. In a historic and symbolic move, France's National Assembly voted unanimously to repeal Code Noir, or the Black Code, ending the legal existence of one of the darkest remnants of the country's colonial past. The vote passed 254-0, with lawmakers across party lines backing the repeal. The centuries-old law, introduced under King Louis XIV in 1685, the Black Code laid down rules governing slavery in France's overseas colonies. The law classified enslaved people as movable property and granted legal protection to slave owners. Its 60 articles regulated nearly all aspects of enslaved life, including labor, punishment, marriage, and religion. Some clauses even permitted brutal punishment, mutilation, and the sale of enslaved individuals as commodities. Although France officially abolished slavery in 1848, the Black Code was never formally removed from the French law. President Emmanuel Macron recently acknowledged that the law should never have survived the abolition of slavery. Macron also said that the country's silence on the issue for nearly 2 centuries had become a form of offense. He further stated that France should not reject discussions around repatriations for slavery while cautioning against making what he called false promises. The debate in Parliament was highly emotional, especially for lawmakers from France's overseas territories whose ancestors were enslaved.
This bill does not claim either to erase history or, on its own, to heal the wounds of history. 25 years after the Taubira Law, which recognizes the slave trade and slavery as crimes against humanity, it aims to take a further step, to take a powerful step of remembrance, justice and recognition by formally repealing the Code Noir and all the texts deriving from it.
Alright guys, I just wanted to let you guys know that the Black Code is not just something that is in France, it's also something that's in the US, and I don't think they, like they did here, I don't think they did it on the media. They didn't show us that it was eradicated but as I said in my other videos, that everybody in the world has been labeled by the Black Code as movable property, as we are underneath the trust, the Sestacue Trust, and that basically makes us property, that basically makes us the straw man in the eyes of the government, the corporation, and France is just doing it publicly in front of everyone. So that just lets you know that things are happening, things are being repealed because it has to happen. It has to happen, letting us know that we have, again, just been seen as the straw man, as corporation, dead bodies in front of the law, in front of the government. So guys, I think that is all for today. Sorry about the video. Hopefully you just kind of like skip a little bit of that part, but again, the summary of everything is basically we're going to continue to see more weather changes. We're going to see a lot more things that are going to happen that are going to shake up not only other parts of the world, but it's also going to happen on America, and people are just going to continue to see these entities because, again, the sun is going to reveal everything. The sun is literally revealing everything. The earth is communicating with the sun, allowing this to happen, allowing that veil to be lifted, and allowing us to see what has been happening in front of our eyes, the shadows, these entities masking themselves either with crystal light technology, liquid technology, or just literally masking themselves with the masks, the face masks, or whatever. But yeah, guys, I think that is it for today. So let me make sure that everything is good on my end. Alright guys, I think that's it. Peace.